You see this? Because tonight will be the night that I will read for you. I'm sorry, I know. Welcome to the first inaugural Hbicc, homebrewed, barely iced coffee chronicles. Because when the coffee gets made at home, unless it's iced coffee, the ice melts. So anyway, because it's like homebrew today, obviously, I don't know. There's like a huge D&D, not huge. Wow, what an overstatement. And I'm glad this has a lid because my hair would just be like all up in the drink. All up in the drink. Sorry. Anyway, um yeah, the D&D themes lately. So like one shot is a D&D. For me specifically, it's a D&D thing. Like if there's a D&D campaign, then you can have a one shot, either a one shot adventure, or if there's like a string of campaigns, a one shot is like we're gonna play something else or stream something else. It's like a break from the regular whatever. Anyway, that was the one shot last time. Homebrew. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's homebrew, but she's giving like homebrewed D&D classes or like homebrewed spells, homebrewed species, homebrewed whatever. It's like when you make your own. So I was like, obviously, we're not gonna go for conventional tarot if it's like homebrew and holidays. Holiday brew iced coffee. Oh my goodness. Not my best friend in the chat. Oh my gosh. I didn't know you was out here, girl. How's it going? Thank you. I didn't want to get it wet, so it went up. Wow. So if I talk about another Sagittarius that's not Reem, more often than not, there she is, my bestie. OMG. OMG. How interesting that you're here today. Because I don't know. I know I still haven't followed up on like a lot of stuff. And I feel like I'll go through like waves and phases where it's like I'm feeling brave enough to reach out today. And then I don't know, life happens because life always happens. But yeah, I need to talk to Auntie at some point. But thank you. I appreciate it. Now, oh, I got two decks. So yeah, I was like, homebrew. What can I do that's like homebrew? Obviously, I'm not going to use like a traditional tarot deck if this is homebrew. I have not played enough Zelda for either one of these decks. I got this Zelda Uno deck years ago now at this point, and I was like, oh, I'll use that. Right? Because they have numbers and suits, so that's not too far off. You have like skips, reverses, wild cards, and this deck in particular, they have wild Triforce cards. And so if someone plays a wild Triforce card, then you have to play a card with the Triforce on top of it. And those cards are 3, 6s, and 9s. I was like, oh my gosh, I just read the rules. I literally just opened it. One of my childhood friends' older sisters, who's a Leap Day baby, like collects Uno cards. So at one point, I was like collecting, like I got a Super Mario Uno deck and maybe another one, and I was gonna like gift them to her, but it never happened. So I just have these Uno decks that are unopened. So, but I said I'd open this one today for the homebrew, and then I did order the Carnival of Time tarot, which is based off of Ocarina of Time. There it is. And that's like the one Zelda game that I still haven't been brave enough to play. Because when I was a child, it scared me. It was scary. And it's like too much pressure. You got 72 hours to get everything. And then it's like the moon was scary. The Skull Kid was creepy. The Redeads were terrifying. I'm like, mm-mm. But if I'm using Zelda, I know it kind of breaks the homebrewiness of it, but if I need an assist, I'll use the Carnival of Tontero. 2 bottles. I have to cut. Cool. I'm looking at the heart piece, and you get, when you collect 4 heart pieces, you get. What is happening? I know this isn't a double-sided card. Oh, the Fool. For some reason, the Fool was like turned around. I saw it when I cut the first time, and I was like, okay, weird. All right, now I think we're all upright. I think I've used this like once. I'm like, give me something I can work with, please. I've played it like very, 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 very little of that game. Because again, like I said, when I was younger, it would scare me. And now it's, Nintendo. This 2 of bottles will not leave the cut. I would have to. I don't even know if they put it on the virtual console. Because after I got this deck, I was like, oh, I should play it. I should just be brave and play the game. But anyway, let's see what's how long has it been? 6 minutes, 47 seconds. Yeah, that sounds like. I mean, for me, that's pretty good. Let's see. I can like barely see. Maybe I can like. Is that gonna? Yeah, maybe do something like this. I don't know. I was just trying to now because it's like in my face. All right, let me stop. Actually, hold up. My Chiron's in Leo, so this is healing for me. Oh, alfalfa. Okay, let's go. All right, that's good enough. I'm nervous. What are we going to talk about today? I don't know. That's what these are for. Okay, so some of these characters, like the only Zelda games I have beaten are like the mobile ones and also Ocarina of Time on the DS at first. Wind Waker, Breath of the Wild, I haven't beaten. Like, I got to the end of the game and I was like, I want to explore all the shrines. And then I kind of burnt myself out before I finished it. And like another game came out. So, but I've seen like characters from Skyward Sword. I started Skyward Sword. I've barely played Twilight Princess. But we'll see. Hopefully, we can make do. All right, let me take a sip. Homebrew Ice Coffee Chronicles, January 17th. I felt like today is somebody's birthday or something. I keep looking at this calendar that still says December 2025. Yeah, I felt like, well, I got to see my bestie, so best friend. Bottom of the deck is a wild card with the sword and shield. And under that is the Link of Water. The Water Temple. Oh, look, Link 99. Link is on the mines, apparently. All right, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? I kind of want to split this. Oops. And just split it roughly there. I'll pull 4 from each. I'll war it. So 3 face down, 1 face up. And there's no majors here. So it'll just like um I keep like shuffling these. Okay, all right. That's what we'll do. So 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth is here from the left side. And 1, 2. These are like a little smaller than Uno cards I'm used to. BT dubs, if you're curious. Wow. So on the right side, it's a draw 4. And here we see the Heroes of Legend from one of the games that I beat. Well, I almost beat it. Do I remember their names? No. It's been a hot minute. But so, and I never played. They came out with the Hyrule Warriors. I think that goes more into the backstory. So in Breath of the Wild, you wake up like 100 years maybe post this whatever, right? And you were there the first time. Apparently, you got put in a deep sleep, and Zelda's like, girl. They become people of legend, basically. Now with the draw 4, because I thought about this, I was like, what if it's like a draw um 4 or a draw 2? So I'm gonna draw 4 more. And oh, since it's 4, it's easy. It's be a round 2. But I don't I'm gonna flip these. If they're all predominantly one color, that'll be easy. They're all different colors because of course they are. There's a draw 2, which has Ganon, I'm assuming. A 7 and a reverse. So the odd color out is green. Easy. Nice. So if this doesn't match green, well, this was the one at first, and it's the 9. This link, which is a Triforce. Who's the main hero? This is the one, not this particular, because this is looking like the Twilight Princess link, I believe. Oh, you can't even see. It's fine. He's the one that gets sent back in time that wakes up. And I don't recall how his memory is. But you do find basically their spirits or descendants, I believe, in the follow up game. So it's interesting that this reversal card is here because it's like he gets removed from play. Now the fourth card that came out is Fee from the majority of these games I have not finished. It's the spirit of the master, the Skyward Sword, girl. That's what I'll say because I don't know if it's the Master Sword in that game or not. It's the spirit that dwells inside of the sword. Neither one of these are green. Well, that's not green. So let's see if one of the additional cards is. Yeah. So it's this Guardian, the Green Guardian, this other Zelda, and those heroes. There you go. Again, how will this apply? I'm not sure. But it feels like there's an energy of like something was happening, something was going down. Obviously, it's Zelda. And it's almost like something couldn't be completed at some point in time. So whatever happened to Link, he goes forward. He goes into deep sleep until he's woken up in the future. So it's all like you could say it's like, let's say that someone was working on some endeavor that was going to be like really big, or it had the potential to be like really big or whatever. And for some reason, like things fall through and the person is put on ice. And it's like it happened for a reason because it wasn't their time. It wasn't yet their time to do whatever they were doing. Right. So, like, let's say, for example, there are three people who have a startup and the business gets bought out. There's like talks of the business getting bought out or whatever. And like right before a contract is supposed to be signed, it's a metaphor. Right before the contract is supposed to be signed, like two of the people conspire to eliminate the third. And so like this would be the third person. It's Link, right? And let's say it's like wildly successful and the third person feels like cheated out of something. And then come a year, 2 years, however much time, there's like some huge scandal that not only sort of like bankrupts the company, but it like mars them for basically life. Like no one wants to do business with them. And maybe they even do time, depending on how whatever it is, how extreme or impactful it is, right? So, depending on how the company is set up, and maybe even not, it's like if that third person would have remained in the company, they would have been caught up in that, regardless if they would have went along with it or not. But because they were removed, what they thought was a slight, what was a slight, and what they felt cheated out of, it's like they were actually saved. And it's funny because we have like both the Zelda and the Fee from that Skyward Sword timeline franchise. It's not a franchise, but from that game. But these heroes are from another game. And I think this is the Zelda from this Breath of the Wild timeline. Like all three of these are in this timeline. And all of these are sort of left in the past. But and again, it's kind of interesting because of the whole like one shot thing, right? Where it was something that's incongruous to like whatever else is happening. It feels like it's a detour. It feels like it's um I feel like a one shot would go beyond a detour. Maybe not. Ugh. Anyway, um, because it's like it's this whole other, or like maybe they don't even come back to it. Maybe they just like start something new. Now, technically, since neither one of the cards that matter match the color, then these four hero like this will take it. But ooh, we got a young Link, we got Fee again, and we have another Link. There's a lot of links in this deck, which I should be not. surprised by. I'm assuming this is Ocarina of Time Link because he's holding the ocarina. Fee again, and is this Skyward Sword Link? Because I think the Skyward Sword has that purple on it. So that's the spirit of this sword in particular. And it's funny how we see like three different links. I was just watching something, and the crown of the triple goddess was there. And when it comes to the divine feminine, like there's the mother, the maiden, and the crone. And I was like, um, not every time, but often I just get like curious if there aren't multiple. I mean, because I know there are archetypes of like the king, the warrior, the sage, the whatever. I know there are different archetypes for masculine energy, but I feel like it doesn't hold largely. As far as I know, it could, and I'm just unaware. Unaware of it holding presence sort of in the same way. Like the warrior, the king, maybe like the scholar or the sage, sure. But I feel like, anyway, it's interesting to see three different links here. And what's interesting is both the original set of cards and the additional four cards I drew satisfy the condition that this wild card satisfy the condition that this wild card set forth of a green card, right? But the cards that came out were yellow and blue, so they lost this round. And when it comes to, because the draw four was interesting, because I was like, they have so this side has the potential to win four more cards because ultimately you want to have the most cards by the end of the game, right? They have the potential to win four more cards, but if the hand would have originally been lost, it gives a second chance to win that hand, right? So the first card wasn't green, and so it lost that hand. And the second card wasn't green. But now it's gained four additional cards, which include these green cards that satisfy the condition. But they don't come out in a way that would cause them to like lose the hand, the right side to lose the hand. The left side has like a whole lot of action. It has the reverse, it has a draw two, and it came out with the draw four. And honestly, it brings to mind, it's like, they say that like God laughs when people make plans or something like that. But it's almost very like there's what we want to do, and then there's what we sort of need to do. Or, yeah, you can say there's what we want to do, there's what we need to do, and then there's what we need to do to be able to do what we want to do, right? So there are desires and there are necessities, and some desire necessitates certain necessities. But there, it's like, because who is this? I feel like, is that Gant? See, there's like this Twilight Princess type energy here. And maybe even here. I mean, yeah, she's given Twilight Princess. I don't know what Ganon looks like in Twilight Princess. I didn't get that far. And there's a reverse. The reverse is given a loop. Oh, ooh, I didn't see this. 1 second. Ah! All right, sorry. Sorry to interrupt this. So I had my homebrew iced coffee, but somebody's about to make a run. And so I'm just getting this order ready to place so that when I get the word, it will be ordered. That's good enough. Um, so yeah, there's this energy. It's kind of like there's what we want, and it's like I feel like there's a few different ways to read it. It's like there's what we want to do, especially if the divine is integrated into our lives in some way. It's like there's what we want, there's us living our lives, but then there's also like what's required of us or what is asked of us, right? And so in that, like, there's something that's fulfilled in this as someone is taken away from what they thought or what they wanted to do. And it could, again, it doesn't, it could just be as something as simple as like protection, right? Like that path would not have led where we thought, or it like there would, there's something about that that is not desired. Or as we go on that detour, we are prepared to handle and face. So, like, let's say, for example, if someone is going into the realm of like the public eye, right? Maybe there was a role, like a breakout role that like like someone auditioned for and maybe that they had it but at the very last minute casting went with somebody else, and then the movie comes out and the person who played that role is like a star, but it's like if the person wasn't ready for fame or if the person was immature in themselves enough that they would have got like swept up in Hollywood and then just like gone through that Hollywood experience. It's like to protect them from that experience, the role was given to someone else. But in the meantime, it's like they're learning, they're growing, they're grounding in themselves, they're grounding in their faith or their beliefs so that when their moment does come, they won't be lost to the darker side of Hollywood that the folks that know that I don't know. I know enough to No, like the dark side of Hollywood, the dark side of fame, the dark side of a lot of stuff. Because a lot of things have dark sides, and this definitely went. And like Twilight Princess and Majora's Mask, in my opinion, are two of the darker ones. I feel like Twilight Princess is arguably the darkest. And it's like not even necessarily in tone, but just like in the art style, right? Like if you look at the vibrant colors of the um, Breath of the Wild world, even with the Guardian, if I can get this card off the table, and I'm pretty sure these are all Breath of the Wild. If you look at these colors, right, and then you look at the Skyward Sword, and I'm pretty sure this is Skyward Sword. Like this is one thing. But then when you look at the Twilight Princess, and I'm pretty sure this one is Twilight Princess, it's like this whole almost this like steampunk dystopian future esque. Now you can't even see it. The blurry ones. It's like it would not have. It's again, it's given one of those like happened for a reason. It's kind of like rejection is God's protection. I feel like rejection is God's protection. That's something that's known, but also, I guess, in the same way, like if there's something that we were in line for that we sort of bank on and then it doesn't happen, like that could also be protection. So this is taken by this side. So the risk pays off. And maybe with that, like the risk pays off because it's almost like just because we're rejected from something, just because we lose out on something, just because we suffer an unexpected, surprising defeat, doesn't mean that we're going to like pick ourselves up and keep going. It doesn't mean we're not going to give up and throw in the towel. It doesn't mean that we're not going to pursue the same thing. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to become jaded or become the offender in whatever case, right? Like if we were cheated out of something, it doesn't mean that we're not going to go out and now try to cheat other people out of stuff because it happens. And I feel like that I don't want to say necessarily that that's a risk that's not talked about often enough because like spirits will be broken, hopes and dreams can be crushed. And it's just like sometimes you just got to like pick yourself up, and keep going, right? You can't like give up or throw in the towel. And it's just, I guess the divine just has to trust. And too, the divine knows you and others and whatever, right? But it has to trust in the strength or that trust in the strength or the faith of the belief or whatever. Trust that it won't just like break somebody. But I don't know. It's like, is it even a matter of trust? I'm not a parent. Let's see. Let's see. What am I doing? I don't know. My Chiron's in Leo. This is healing for me. Let me stop. I do need a retwist now. Anyway, still, of course, because it hasn't happened. Um, yeah, it's just like if there's a no, and it's funny because I was watching something on YouTube. The ads are anyway. There was this like BetterHelp ad, and it was a girl who was like, I went through this really hard breakup, and I did like she was like, I knew that eventually, like, I would be okay. Or she was like, I knew that eventually I would get over it, but you know, she was like, I wanted to make sure that I came out of it in a way that I would want, or something like that. I like skip the ad. But it is kind of sort of again like that energy of like the things we go through that we're trusted to make it through. But at the same time, it's like even if it's questionable of whether or not we could put ourselves back together or be put back together, it's like, does the risk, like, is the risk of how we make it through the rebuilding process greater than the risk of getting whatever anyway, right? So, for example, with the company metaphor, is the risk of us like continuing to work towards whatever, or is the risk of us sort of throwing in the towel after that greater than like the damage we would have suffered had we stayed in that company and then being a part of whatever is like marred? You know what I mean? I feel like I'm trying to communicate it. I hope you get the point. I have to trust that you do. Because if it is, like if the risk is lower than the damage that would be caused, then even if there's a chance that we don't, maybe it's better that we get removed anyway. But here, like what needed to happen happened. 4:44 on the timer. You see it? 4:44. That's me on a beach. I'm like, when do I place this order? 1 second. I feel like I can leave it here and not make this unnecessarily. Oh, girl, who was this? See, with this King of Swords and the Hanged Man, yeah, I low key feel like someone or something was banking on someone like not being pulled out, either not being pulled out of the situation for one, not being able to put themselves together for two. See, it's like it's reading very much like God removed you from a situation that the devil wanted you in for whatever reason. And sometimes in our limited understanding and the wavering of our faith or whatever, we could be removed from a situation and just like and chase what we were removed from and end up there anyway. And for some reason, like the King of Swords, especially with that hangman behind it, it's reading like waiting for someone to be in a vulnerable situation to like get them. And again, with the energy of that draw four, there's no guarantee that the person won't just make their way back. In the cards, they didn't. There was the green that was like needed, but it didn't come out in a way where it would have jeopardized everything, where it would have caused the right side to like lose that hand. And so it's almost too a bit of an energy of like there are multiple ways to learn lessons. It's almost like when I was growing up, my mom would tell, I feel like I haven't talked about this in a hot minute. When I was growing up, oh snap, it's Matt! Matthew, how you been? When I was growing up, my mom would tell me, like, I really hope you don't have to learn this the hard way. Like, I hope that this experience that you're having right now gets you to learn the lesson that you need to learn, because again, it's like I hope you don't have to learn the hard way. And if I read the cards as they came out, congratulations. It may have been challenging, it may have been difficult, it may not have been easy, but at least you didn't have to learn the hard way. And the veneer of success and apparent happiness and money can be very enticing and shiny and whatever, but again, there's a dark side to a lot of stuff. All right, let's get one of these. Maybe. Let's see. And let's see. Get one of these and we'll see. Get one of these and we'll see. Are you playing anything recently? I feel like maybe not Mass Effect. I don't remember. I feel like there was something that you were playing at some point. Who is this? I'm sorry. Bottom of the deck is a 7 of Deku sticks. Ain't this old girl? What's her name? No, I think that she's giving Lon Lon girl. Oh wait, this is Twilight, or this is Ocarina of Time. This is Madra's Mask, not Ocarina of Time. The card that came out though, that I was like, who is this? It's Temperance and girl, Temperance and Judgment. Again, if I read it how it's reading, in Temperance, this one fish. Okay. In Temperance, there's this one fish that doesn't even fit in the jar that it's in, and there's this smaller fish in the other jar. It looks like, on its face, it looks like the fish in the smaller jar is being like poured into the mouth of the bigger fish. But I don't think, like, I wouldn't think so. Or if so, like, there's like this girl. What? Mech Warrior 5? I've never even heard of that. I think Cyberpunk 2070, the number of games I've actually finished is also not very high. Until like a year and a half ago, I was like, I want to finish some of the games that I started. And I finished a few of them. I'm kind of in that mood. Like, I want to finish Final Fantasy 16 and I want to finish Kingdom Hearts 3. I played and finished Expedition 33. I was on that for a hot minute. And it's because of that I want to go back to Final Fantasy 16. But I was watching a streamer because I like to see other people's reactions to stuff, and she played Kingdom Hearts 3. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was a game that, like, I was really looking forward to. When it came out, my eyes were so bad I couldn't even play it. But then after I got my cataracts removed, and now it's like it's so like much more affordable than it was when it came out. You can get the whole collection for cheaper than the price of the game. Anyway, now it's like, oh yeah, it is. And I feel like there are certain things that I don't necessarily expect to see. And it's funny because I was talking about the ending of something else that everyone's been talking about. And I feel like a lot of times, I don't want to spoil it. So I will reserve my comment. I just feel like it was a lot like, it was really beautiful, and it was a lot more complex than I would have thought. Because I feel like sometimes and it's funny because I saw something that was like the way that shows are written now, like, shows are written with the expectation that somebody's gonna be on their phone doing something else. And so it's like the reason why things are like overly explained now, or the reason why it may seem like things have gotten a lot simpler is because there's an assumption that this is something that someone's going to be engaging with while they're doing something else. So, if they're not fully paying attention, they're not going to notice these things in these scenes because they're not really watching the TV. They're more so listening to the dialogue. And when it gets whatever, then they may look away. But anyway, um, that may explain it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. My friend, he didn't even make it out of the like prologue. He played the game like maybe 15 minutes and was done with it. So it's definitely not for everybody. Um, but yeah, I want to go back and finish Kingdom Hearts 3 now because I waited for that game and now I can play it. And I saw a streamer like reacting to Kingdom Hearts clips, and I was like, I want to go back and anyway, yeah. Okay. Okay. So I mean you made it farther than him. He didn't even make it to the dock. He, and it's like he was like walking, he was on his way to the dock, got stopped at that one point where like the guy wants to paint their portrait, and he was like, I'm done. He's like, I give up. He's just like, yeah. So, I mean, it also helps when, yeah. Excuse me. So, excuse me. There's this on its face, it looks like the smaller fish may be poured into the mouth of the larger fish. And the smaller fish is like smiling. Or it's like the smaller fish knows something that this larger fish doesn't know. She's giving that like faith energy. The smaller fish isn't going to be broken even if it seems like they're being poured into the mouth of the larger fish, right? And if they are poured into the mouth of the larger fish, it's one of those like I'm not going to be chewed. I may, be digesting a little bit, but maybe this larger fish is going to take me where I'm going, right? Like Jonah and the whale type energy. She's getting biblical today, apparently. Um, I feel like if again, like the bigger fish would be a carrier for the smaller fish to get wherever it's going, if that does happen. That's like the level of faith that this fish has. But with judgment behind it, that's what makes this like super interesting because of that like devil energy that was at the bottom of the deck. So it's almost like devil energy is like waiting for somebody to be like caught up in something. Or let's say, for example, someone already has a platform or a presence, or somebody just is who they are. And there's some other person, entity, organization, girl, whatever, that like already has a narrative. Either they have a narrative that they've already penned and they're waiting to put out, or they are currently running that narrative, but the person's actions don't fit the narrative. So that King of Swords energy is basically trying to get somebody to act out of character. So that then when judgment is called, it's like, well, see, but that person is like here too. It's all three of them. It wasn't just the two people, and maybe it's known that one person got cut out, right? I don't know. Or after this whole scandal breaks down, and when you look into their history, then it's like, oh, there was this third person that was a part of it, but before it went public or before they went big or whatever, like this person was like, they're not in. And I'm seeing so many kicked out of the Heroes Party anime. It's the new trope that I continue to watch. We actually saw this link, right? And the right side won this link. So I can't just assume, well, this could be Ocarina of I don't think this is Ocarina of Time. No, there is an ocarina in Madra's Mask because you play it to go back in time. Wait, that's the Skyward Sword. Is that not the Skyward Sword? I feel like the purple on this sword. Anyway, but I feel like this is where this gets a little trippy because Link is playing the ocarina in this judgment card. This is it. I feel like it's reading like the battle for someone's soul, low key. I mean, from the top, it's kind of sort of maybe not been that extreme, but and it's like this. There's something about this individual that devil energy wants that the divine is protecting because the individual is calling judgment when they play that ocarina. It's almost like if someone is blessed so that whatever they invest their time, energy, and effort into, like their abundance will be or that will thrive. And especially like if they don't necessarily see it because they're just like working hard and doing whatever. But if someone else notices it, regardless of what their intentions may be, there are many who would seek to have that person on their side, right? But especially if something is like not like doomed to fail or there's a vested interest in both sides. Well, I feel like a vested interest on both sides is a little there's a vested interest on one side for sure. But on the other side, it just reads like the divine wants that person to have the life and experience that they want and one that honors them, one where they're not taken advantage of. So it's not necessarily the divine wants someone to do something specific or in particular, but devil energy for certain wants because it's almost like if and again like I'm watching Kuruc Central right now, so this is so interesting. But it's like if devil energy could convince this person to call judgment in its favor, it would be a dark day for humanity. Right. So, for example, there were many brilliant minds. It's like, do I want to use that example? There were many brilliant minds in like the Manhattan Project. Right. And there were some that was like, this should not be used as a weapon, but it was. There were those who pulled out and those who pulled out and stated their cases publicly. And then there were those who went along with the plan for whatever reason. And it's almost like imagine how different the world could have been if our first exposure to like nuclear energy, where like clean, renewable energy, like we can power cities, we can power nations with a fraction of the whatever. And there's like no environmental harm and like all of this other stuff. Like life would generally be better. But because judgment came down in a way that it's used as a weapon, now even when it comes to the positive things that nuclear energy could be used for, we're hesitant. And yes, like just okay, I don't have to get lost in the metaphor. Now we're hesitant because of how it was used. And that again, it has forever marred how we view nuclear energy to the point where MRI machines are MRI machines and not in MRI machines. It's not nuclear magnetic resonance imaging or whatever. It's just magnetic resonance imaging because if folks knew that there was like a nuclear component to it, they would be like, oh no, I don't want that. And it's so funny because space came out as the final card from the Quantum Tarot 2.0 yesterday. And it was like your star in the cosmos. And I feel like there was even a card in the Whispers of Lord Ganesha. Maybe not, but there's like that energy of like, although an individual in the vastness of the universe, although one person out of billions, like you are significant and your impact is significant. And there's like a lot of things like vying for your attention or hoping that you will whatever type energy. And if it feels like, because when I first saw this, it immediately came across as like a fish that has gotten too big for its pond that's being transferred to another one, potential probably involuntarily transferred to a bigger pond. Can you hear Gina out there playing? But then when I looked at the image, I was like, oh, this is like, that's when the message of faith came in, where that fish knows even if it goes into the mouth of that, or if the blue fish knows that even if it goes into the mouth of the orange fish, it will be okay. The fish isn't bothered. Maybe it's because the fish has realized its power of judgment, because we all have the power of judgment in our own lives, and we all can contribute to the greater judgment by how we show up in the world. But I feel like all of that was gained through those two rounds. Again, the draw four forced another round, but it could have lost. And then the other side would have more cards, right? Those extra cards it could have lost, but it didn't. We always have free will. So, anyway, it took a hot minute. Oh, girl. See, that's why. Well, okay, sure. The Queen of Deku Sticks. Without the cut, which is Queen of Wands energy. And then the Hermit is here. It's been an hour. When is this? I thought I was gonna give me a delivery before the end of this video. All right, final card from the Carnival of Time Tarot. And again, like, if someone has the power to call judgment, I feel like that it's almost like the risk that the divine runs in denying someone something, especially when they know who they are. And even if like they don't, like we have free will. So just because we are protected in some ways, just because we are denied in some ways, does not mean that we won't throw ourselves back into the fire. Doesn't mean that at all. And again, I don't know, for some reason, it's like the risk that is taken when we are denied something and we don't know why. And the trust that has to be had in us to navigate however is for us to navigate. And there's no expectation. I would imagine there's no expectation for an immediate like knowing of whatever. And disappointment still hurts. Like bad experiences still come with, you know, maybe at the very least disappointment. I mean, at the very least indifference, but you know, I feel like it can get lesser than disappointment, but you know what I mean. Or maybe it's just like when you do make it, or as you are making it, don't be distracted by the things in the past that don't matter, right? So, like, let's say the one person who was kicked out of, who was cut out of the deal or whatever, you find your success, right? It's not necessarily for you to then go and find those two people who cut you out and be like, "Oh, y'all cut me out. Y'all thought y'all was making moves or whatever. Well, look at me now and look at you." It's like that's not it's not necessary. We can do whatever we want. The ego will as it does, but again, it's just like that's not necessary. We don't have to. We can because we got free will, but we don't have to do that. Okay. We also, in turn, don't have to open ourselves up to be used again, right? So for the person that finds their success, if the other two people come around and you're like, we can't get work anymore. Like there's, or maybe they're just like, hey, like, we've been struggling and we did so much great work the first time. We would love to like work with you again. We see what you're doing and it's whatever. But it's like, if you know that the reason that they're coming to you is because no one else will work with them because of what they did, it's like, do you want for what they did to themselves for them to do it to you? And it's just like we don't have to be malicious, but neither do we have to be naive, right? We can do either. We can open ourselves up to work with them again because, maybe the first time, whatever. We can go and we can rub it in their faces and gloat. We don't have to do either. Bottom of the deck is the Empress, which is one of the great fairies. The Empress in the world, not Empress of the world energy at the bottom of the deck. Well, hey, if you call in judgment and your judgment has the power to make even shadow shine, then hey. The Empress, the world, and the sun. Can you believe? Because the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Deku Sticks, we saw. And it was like that energy because the Queen of Wands is radiant enough to be the sun for the sunflower. But in the sun, there's like a whole field of sunflowers that we don't see here. But typically, there's a whole field of sunflowers. Cool. And then the Four of Wands is behind that sun card. So, love that. Like, that's the scale and scope of your power, of your presence. And so, it's like when you know who you are, treat yourself accordingly and allow yourself to be treated accordingly as well. I feel like I don't really have to get final Uno cards because they're Uno cards, but I will. Final card from. Ooh, there's a few of them. We saw it in the green suit, I believe. No, maybe. I don't remember. Now it's come out in the red. There's red and a whole bunch of yellow. Interesting. So in the rules of Uno, this would play. So there's this one again, but there's also this one. There's the red and the yellow. Maybe that speaks to how that judgment call could go either way. All right, this is over. I need to, yeah, we've reached the end of the video. It's how this judgment card could go either way. Oh, snap. Oh, snap, Sandra. Thank you. Well, it's different than it was earlier, but thanks. I appreciate it. It's like, again, wherever we make that call, that's what's going to benefit. But the card is like, again, maybe it's the energy of how we'll be removed from situations. It's like, hey, like there are two skips after this. So there are multiple attempts to get us to stop making the call in this direction. Whereas on the other side, that's just how it came out. And they're the same color. It's like, stop, stop. But again, we have free will. We can continue to choose two no's. Sometimes it's be like, there's also a need for discernment here. Just because we encounter, but again, but that was also part of the message earlier, right? There are multiple reasons why we can get a no. It could be not this company, not this team, not this time, not this environment, not this specific location, right? Our discernment will hopefully let us know or will clue us into why. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate it either way. I was just letting you know if you didn't know. Um, it can be no for any reason, and it doesn't mean it's for us to give up. But again, because we have free will, it's almost like at a certain point in time, our choice and decision has to be honored. And if we make that, it's like you could say this is between the mind and the soul, red for fire, yellow for air. Our mind is taking us in a certain direction that we keep getting these no's, and the soul ultimately has the power to make that call. But because our access to the soul is what it is, like, meaning like sometimes we don't fully know. And like both are all like our minds, our hearts, and our bodies are all have their connections to the soul. There are mental ways to get there, physical ways to get there, and spiritual, emotional ways to get there, right? You can be so moved by a piece of whatever that it brings you in contact with your soul. You can be out in nature and experience the beauty of creation, and that brings you in contact with your soul. You can do, I don't want to say like the journey, but there is an aspect of the mind that's involved, right? And that can also bring you in contact because that is like it's knowing it creates a basis of knowing that forms as that connection. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I was the one that was blessed today. Seeing so many faces. I hope y'all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and what you find. And until next time, I hope the level of clarity Because it's like, excuse me, I feel like on a certain level, there are some times and situations where we're not going to know everything, where certain things may not even be clear to us, but our discernment and our intuition can give us enough of an inkling to like let something be. I hope that can be. I hope that the level of clarity you get in a situation is sufficient to be what you need. Because I almost like said, I hope you get the clarity that you need, but I think sometimes the level of information that we would need to feel clear about something, super like that's more than the information that we get, right? Like your discernment may not tell you why you're intuiting something, but I hope that it's enough to help you navigate whatever you're navigating in your life. Okay. I'll catch y'all later.